Hey guys, it's Lindsay. It's time to entertain you with my embarrassing life again. So I hope you enjoy this one. This one was pretty funny. It is again about the Philippines. I keep thinking I'm going to run out of Filipino stories, but I don't. I was on the island of Bohol with my uncle, and I think I told you he was there. He started the International Deaf Education Association. He does really good work there, so it's a really great place to help people. When I was talking about the Philippines before, I talked about we were secreted away to Hawaii for a while, and so we were staying up there in the house with the spider and and the pythons that had to be cleaned from the rafters and things like that. But one of the other places that we stayed was at this. Um, I hate to use the word resort, but it was a resort. It honestly cost us maybe like $10 a night. We stayed on the beach, and we had these two tiny little beds, and the mattresses were like that thick. If you went into the bathroom, that was like, I mean, there was only two rooms. There was the room with our two beds. It was very tiny. I mean, this was like, this made like dorm rooms look luxurious. And then there was the bathroom, and the toilet was in the shower. And you got to understand that the toilet, it was basically a porcelain hole. And in order to flush these porcelain holes, you had a bucket full of water, and you would ladle the water in there, and then it would flush it down the hole. So we were living high on the hog at this resort in the Philippines. So, but we were right on the beach, which was really cool because they had the fishermen, and they would go out on their boats during the day, and they'd come back with their catches, or they'd have ladies selling seashells and everything to the tourists like us, or they make jewelry out of the seashells and sell that to us. And 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 they had one guy who took me and my cousin out snorkeling. So we got up on this boat, and it was reasonably priced or whatever. And we didn't realize when he was going to take us snorkeling, he was going to take us to another island. So, first of all, we get out, and yes, it is beautiful. This is like a little reef place, you know. There's this huge drop off though, and we were like terrified of what was on the other side because it was like beautiful and coral and all these wonderful fish, and then there was all of a sudden just darkness. And we were like, we're afraid of the darkness over here. So we went snorkeling around there, and it was neat. And then we expected, like, okay, we were just conditioned by America. Hey, we did our thing that we paid for. We go back now, right? And no. So he's like, well, before we go back, we're gonna go to my friend's house. And I'm like, what? And Alicia's like, what? And we're both very passive people, so it's like, oh, we didn't know how to like impose that. No, we're not doing that. We're going back. So anyway, we were being led through on this other island when our uncle is on the other island. So there's nobody that we know there. Down this trail to this random house, and I was like, I had my camera with me, and I'm a red belt in Taekwondo at the time, and I hand my camera to Alicia. I was like, here, hold this in case I need to kick some butt. I just didn't want my camera to get messed up. So, I mean, because it was nerve-wracking, and I feel very protective of people, and you know, so I was trying to protect my cousin, kind of took the lead to be between him and her just in case. Because, you know, there's a lot of kidnapping and stuff going on there. So we go to this house, and there's this huge family there. I mean, the grandma's there. There's like her children, her grown children with their children, and we're like going, oh my gosh, we're totally outnumbered. And but it's cute because they really like to be like Americans, and they're like, here, I have wallpaper, and so they'd have like one strip right here, and then over here they'd have like another strip and it doesn't match at all. And there's still holes in the walls where the like winds come through and everything. Um, but it was just a very culturally different thing. You know, we didn't know what was going on because this is like really foreign to us, literally. And we got invited into their home, and the first thing you do that they do when they invite you into their home in the Philippines is they offer you a rum and coke. Keep in mind we're 19 and 17 years old. We can't drink in America, but we can drink here. We weren't sure what to do with that. Um, but it turned out that the ladies, all that worked there, they made jewelry out of shelves, like, and it was actually very pretty. And I actually, you know, still own one. We're like, we better buy some jewelry so they don't kill us. But they were actually really nice after we got to know them, and got less afraid and scared and feeling like we were being abducted. Um, and I still own like a couple of the things that I bought there. So they really were pretty, and we didn't feel bad about buying them. And then he took us back to the boat, and he took us back to the main island. But it was very stressful there for a minute because we did not know what was going on. One night, most of the beach was flat, and then all of a sudden, at one end of it, it went up this rock face, and then there was a restaurant like way up here. And we decided that we were going to go to this restaurant and try it out because there was another one we'd been frequenting or whatever. And you got to understand, when you're going to a restaurant here, it's like they shoo the feral cats off the table before they feed you. I mean, like, the health inspectors here in America would just like they'd pop a blood vessel and die if they saw some of the stuff that we did. So anyway, so we went on up on top of the shoreline up to this restaurant up here, and because we are able to drink here, and we were two teenagers on our own, and we're like, well, you know, why not? So I ordered a margarita, and they gave it to me, and it was straight tequila. And I was just like, can you put some mix in this? And they were like, wow, usually people complain that it's not strong enough. And it was like, no, please. I don't want it. I don't want straight tequila. So they did put a little more mix in it. And then my cousin had a drink too. And we got intoxicated. So that happens when you drink. And so we're going down this, you know, rocky place back down to the beach. And like I said, you know, they have all the boats going in and out during the day. Well, at night they tie them to the palm trees on the beach. And so there's these ropes just up and down the beach. And the beach is the easiest way to walk because on the other side of that is mostly buildings and things like that. So it was basically an obstacle course for drunk girls. And we kept failing because every time the tide would go out, the rope would go tight. And every time the tide would go in, it would go low. So about the time that we'd start to step over it, it'd go boom, and we'd fall. And we'd laugh because we were drunk. And we were just dying because we were failing so bad at this. We were so glad to get back to our room, but it was just so funny. Because we just kept falling and laughing and getting up. And we think this time we were going to make it over, and then we'd fall again. And it was like... And it was just we just couldn't get the timing right on those boats and the tide coming in and out. It was really funny. Maybe it's only funny to me, but I thought I would share. That's our embarrassing life, and that was 23 years ago. Crap, that's a long time ago. So I can legally drink now, but for the most part, I don't do it very often. I don't suggest doing it very often. And if you do drink responsibly. I have a positive thing to say at the end of this one. Yay! I keep forgetting to say like and subscribe, so please like and subscribe the channel. And if you do like things, I'd love to hear some comments. Really lovely to hear from you. And I'll embarrass myself for you again very soon.